Farmer George's Farming Simulators.co.uk. There we are, just continuing this series. It's about my first hour's play really, and this is about half an hour in the third quarter anyway. Just check the prices. See what I can take to where and how much stock I've got. Listen to those roosters. So I think I'll take the beets. There's only a few. Anything that we can sell to try and get money in, so that we can afford the next field and, you know, get turning over an income. And as you probably saw at the start, I set the time to normal time. It's still 7:26 in the morning. Well, okay, normal time doesn't run exactly like it should do. And obviously this is where cosplay is messed up, because it has come to empty the harvester, then is also blocking the harvester. And I think a little script could be written to avoid this thing. There is a point where it's supposed to drive out to a point on the harvested side of the field, and also I would like to see, if any modders watching this, cosplay rewritten to the where it only unloads the harvester on the harvested side of the field, on this side of the vehicle, when it's on this side of the field, because a real farmer would not drive over the crop. You would not drive through that grown wheat, because you just flatten it all with your tyres. And the amount of driving people do over these fields, it's just ridiculous. It would just flatten the whole crop. Now, there was a mod that I still have in my 2011 game, which has a wide-wheeled, it's actually called an auger wagon, or some people call them a chaser bin, that unloads the harvester and takes it to the side of the field. And if you time it correctly, you can get it to unload on the correct side of the field, the harvested side. But again, you can't stop it from running over the straw. Excuse me. But the mod used to actually, when you drive through a crop, flatten it, leave tracks everywhere, and it actually destroyed the crop, which is exactly what would happen in the real world. And it was a Brent Avalanche, as I remember. I can't remember the number, but it was something like a 1790 auger wagon, and it was in yellow. There were green ones, but they had this. They didn't have this feature where they destroyed the crop when you drove over it. But it was quite interesting and a challenge. And the point that I'm making is that it is a real challenge that farmers have. If you've got a wide-wheeled auger wagon, and the wheels on this auger wagon were actually bigger than most tractor wheels, the rear tractor wheels, and there was twin sets, twin axles, so flattening the crop at that amount is just crushing on your revenue from the field, and it really did destroy it. So I did a little practice driving up and down the field, but this mod was only in Farming Simulators 2011, was not carried across to Farming Simulators 13 or 15. If you enjoy playing the older games, I still play Farming Simulators 2011. I think it's a better game than this, in the sense that I've got more vehicles, more mods, more maps, a lot more better thought out maps, prettier maps. I have one which does cotton on a map, and it's got all alfalfa and all that sort of stuff. Very interesting. But the only problem with that is sometimes the vehicles didn't always work because there were mods. This is a course that I was driving, as you saw. I came back to this course, so I paused this course by not actually physically pausing courseplay, but just started doing other things and then driving this vehicle. And you can see I'm following the eggs back to the sheep where I started. It's an example of a course that just goes round and round. We're just coming up to where the sheep are, and we set a pause, wait course, wait point, and then a stop. If we don't do that stop point, then of course when the tractor hits the stop point without the wait point, it'll just start the course again, start driving. And then we're naming the course, travel course, sheep to farm to sheep, or sheep to farm and back, whichever you want to. But as long as you know when you title a course, a cosplay course, what it's doing. So then make a save on your save game. And this is a slow ass tractor. I could have used a faster tractor and it would have only, you know, in looking back, I could have used this tractor on one of the tipper wagons to take some of the stuff to tip whilst I've been making this course with the faster Buer tractor, the yellow one, or even this red one would have been better. And then you can just set the speed to the maximum speed of the road, and it'll only go, the tractor will only go as fast as it can go. Top that up. And leave it somewhere where it's not in the way. There, it's filled, and we'll just put it down. Make sure you don't drive no other vehicles through here, but I often make that a set waiting point when I'm driving to refill implements. But another trick is to use the there is a special fertilizer bowser that you can get that can refill your vehicles, and basically you need two Bowsers and one working vehicle that works in the field, and you can bring all three directly up to the to a field, all full, and then as soon as the vehicle's empty you can refill it and then get it back to work as soon as possible, then send the other Bowser back to be refilled, and that's the stopping point I was mentioning near the fertilizer. You can also have one for liquid manure as well, but they're different vehicles. They don't hold either material, they only hold either material, they only hold just the fertilizer or just the manure, liquid manure. Same if you're spreading muck, but you know, a lot of people don't bother with these things on the farms. But one of the best maps I ever had was a map that had the buildings weren't built yet, there was a space for them, and you had to obviously run your farm from scratch, and as you needed, you know, a milking machine, as you needed a biofuels plant, as you needed a manure, liquid manure maker, because it scrapes off the I think it's the liquid side of the manure, of course, and mixes it and everything to make it runny and sprayable. And those plants cost money, and you used to drive into this, similar to the coins that you have that's spinning, that you can activate things with, like when you're buying a field, and it would set up a plant, and up to that point you could use the field as a field. Maybe would have been a better idea, but I don't think any of the fields were actually usable. They were just the positions where a biofuels plant would go. So we just might as well get rid of the beets and the potatoes, because they're not doing us any good here. But under a more realistic farming simulation, you would need these beets and this potatoes to seed the field. Because you have to buy so many to plant in order to grow a crop. Same with the wheat and the barley, and they often have you selling all of the store, but you know, the wheat and the barley seeds is what the wheat and the barley grow from, so you need some. In agricultural simulator they did have this. You bought seed, and you could either use it for seeding the field or you could sell it. So of course you would buy, say, like I don't know, 500 euros worth or 1,000 euros worth, or you know, a few thousand euros worth of seed, and then you would never sell beyond that limit. But the other thing was prices change as well, so it's always difficult to know whether you're selling stuff that you've just bought and you're losing money. So it would have been nice to have the seed storage in a different place to the seed storage that you're going to sell, like buy in bags of seed. And I think that's what's implied here in this game by the seeding point where you refill your seeders. And of course you don't actually have to go out and buy the seed. A nice little game, mini game off the side of this would be that you buy your seed from the farm shop and you have to go and collect it. and it would be there on pallets, and you'd have to pick it up and put it onto the back of a wagon. But you know why they aren't doing that. The reason is because the forklift truck simulation part of this game has never really worked very well. If you've ever tried taking pallets of sheep wool anywhere, you know, it doesn't matter what mod vehicle you use, even the ones with the locks on, they're a pain in the backside to load, they're a pain in the backside to unload, unless you drive through one of those points. Then it's not a simulation anymore, where it all just vanishes off the trailer, which seems a bit pointless if you've just spent all that time lacing it on. As you can see here, I'm ploughing the straw back into the field. No other reason for that apart from I can't afford the baler or a forage wagon to pick it up. Which is, back in the day, if you didn't have the money, rather than ploughing it into the field, you would go and rake it up by hand. You'd employ a few villagers, and it would be nice to hire a worker, which is a man walking about doing these sort of things. Who's checking on that hire a worker there? Incidentally, you can leave a course that's been recorded. You can just stop the vehicle, jump out of it, and go and do other things, leaving the course recording if you're recording with courseplay, and go and do other things and come back and continue recording the course, and you don't have to pause the course or anything. I've had a conversation recently with someone who said when they're trying to go and do other things, they pause the course play, but then it causes problems for them when they're trying to restart it. So, well, just don't bother pausing it. Just, if I was recording the course, I'd just jump out. Now, the reason why I've stopped him here is because I don't want him to catch up with the harvester, and I need this vehicle for something else. Just to go over there, and now I've made a sale of the beets. I can probably afford this field. Not. So at least I know how much money it is. And this is right at the start of my farm, of course, so here's the game where waiting for being emptied, and I have, you know, up to 4 or 5 vehicles sometimes, depending on the size of the field. Working on a field, you need a minimum of at least 3 vehicles: the harvester, and the service vehicle for the harvester, which is taking the seed to store, and of course any ploughing, cultivating vehicles and seeding vehicles. So you might have a harvester, etc. on there. I'll see you in a bit. You've just been watching Farmer George's Farming Simulators from farmingsimulators.co.uk. Please remember to subscribe, like and share this video, and visit farmingsimulators.co.uk.